Hey guys, how's it going? Amma here bringing you another EX Plus analysis video. Don't forget that in the video's description you can find a playlist of my previous EX Plus analysis videos and a playlist of my tier list videos starting from January 2020. For this video I'll talk about Cinque and Snow. At the end of the analysis there's going to be a should you pull section giving you my recommendation on pulling or not. I'm going to go over their strengths and weaknesses as well as which artifacts you should be aiming for. Finally, we'll see together if they are worth investing and how much you should invest in them. Before we begin, I want to remind you that these are just my opinions and you should always do some research on your own before deciding on things, and hopefully this video will help you on that. So let's begin. We are going to start this video with Cinque, because even though she's the featured unit, she's by far not the prize of this banner. When Cinque was released back in September, she was one of the most overlooked level 70 units of the Cosmos era, and for a good reason. Her EX Plus is going to fix some of her initial problems, but not all of them. Her EX becomes a monstrous ability that hits really hard, batters her team, delays all enemies, and launches your target while making the other enemies be able to be launched immediately after. As a cherry on top, her EX also recovers one use of her second skill, now helping a lot with her longevity. This is an amazing EX, but Cinque is a slow unit with a very slow EX, which means she won't have access to this ability very frequently. Her plus skills are kind of a double-edged sword, because even though they hit really hard, thanks to their 200% overflow, they also raise Cinque's action delay, which means she essentially delays herself, something that no other unit in the game does, thankfully. After every plus skill, she has to reapply her stun debuff on the target and increase it to 5 stacks. Cinque helps compensate for her low speed by slowing down the enemies with her frame debuff and her new turn rate down debuff from her EX Plus. Keep in mind that both of those debuffs can stack with generic speed down debuffs as well. Recommended artifacts for Cinque are 108 attack and 330 max brave, with her super strong space case boost being a good consolation prize. Now let's see if she's worth investing in or not. If Cinque is one of your favorite units, then by all means go ahead and max her out. If you're just looking for strong units for your roster though, while trying to maximize the value of your resources, then you have more things to consider. Cinque is a slow damage dealer that can occasionally launch the enemy with her slow EX skill. The payoff of her strong EX skill is not worth it in my opinion, seeing that other units of the same role are faster and can provide more things throughout the fight. Unfortunately, Cinque is one of those units that, in my opinion, lower the overall value of their banner. Now let's see how much you should invest in her if you decide to do so in the end. Giving a book to Cinque slightly increases her EX recast speed and increases it potentially tremendously. This also raises her own speed by 20%, and her EX grants her the Mighty Maiden buff. This buff increases Cinque's attack and battery overflow for all skills by 20%, and also increases her brave by 30% of her max brave at the start of every turn, which is a very powerful brave regen effect. That's one amazing book upgrade. Moving on to the ingots upgrades, one ingot increases her max brave by 60% and her attack by 40%. Pretty basic but good enough. Investing 2 ingots in Cinque allows her to begin the stage with all of her buffs, and she applies 3 stacks of her stun debuff to all enemies at the start of each wave. To top it all off, her EX now recovers one use of her second skill. This upgrade helps her overall longevity a lot, but if you want to build Cinque, you are not allowed to stop here. Finally, investing 3 ingots in Cinque changes her EX to a 3-hit AoE brave plus single target HP attack executed 3 times, tremendously increasing its potency once again, and the skill now applies 10 rate down to all enemies. As a bonus, you get access to her Brave and HP++ skills, the second one being a good filler skill for Cinque. In conclusion, I strongly believe that a single book can raise Cinque to being a Dimensions and viable character, at least for lower stages. If you want to build and use Cinque frequently, then you will need to invest 3 ingots in her because she's a damage dealer after all, and the EX is her strongest asset, which means you want to capitalize on her strengths. That brings the Cinque analysis to an end, and we can finally move to the price of this banner, which is Snow. Snow was arguably the worst tank of the game, from his release all the way to Cinque's Lost Chapter, which comes very soon. Because that's where he gets his rework and brand new EX weapon, along with his realization, slingshotting him from the bottom to the very top of the meta. His rework fixes a lot of his problems, like being able to dump his Brave after using Steel Guard, or actually dealing nice damage with his Frost Strike. The biggest thing though is his EX, which is slightly fast and hits really hard for tank standards. For a good reference, think of Zack's EX and how much damage it does. First, I wanna go over Snow's only problems in my opinion, which are his low hit count on his base skills and the fact that he can't imperil Ice element, meaning that his Frost Strike damage will be trash in ice resistant stages. Now that those are out of the way, let's move on to the good stuff. Snow gets the Zack treatment for his skills, meaning he gets Brave back based on the damage he does on all of his skills, making it really hard to break him if the enemy is able to deal Brave damage to him, that is. His fast EX skill along with a pretty good HP plus attack helps Snow last a lot in any fight, once again really similar to Zack, something that will come up very often in this video. Snow comes with a pretty good party utility in the form of auras, increasing the party's attack, max Brave and HP, while also reducing any HP damage taken by 20% for the whole party, thanks to his EX buff. Last but not least, Snow has the Last Stand passive, which allows him to live with 1 HP instead of dying, making it even harder for enemies to kill him. Recommended artifacts for Snow are 108 attack and 330 max Brave. Now let's see if Snow is worth investing in or not. If Snow is one of your favorite units, then by all means go ahead and max him out. Favorites before meta, like I always say. If he holds no emotional attachment over you though, there are a few things to consider. Snow is yet another strong tank in this game, and if you manage to get your hands on his EX, then you should definitely invest in him. Tanks tend to offer different things from one another, regardless of their individual overall strength, so it's always nice to have spares in your back pocket. Not to mention that he's a pretty damn strong unit that will surely be amazing in Dimensions End. That said, Snow is not by any means necessary, especially if you already have top tier tanks like Zag or Galuf. Yes, Snow reduces the HP damage your party gets, which is another reason you can skip him if you have Porom or Bash. My recommendation though is to build Snow if you manage to get his EX. You can think of him as Zack 2.0 with slightly less overall damage but a much safer option than Zack. Now let's see how much you should invest in him if you decide to do so. Investing a book in Snow gives a tremendous potency increase to his EX and a 30% additional overflow. Pretty boring book upgrade if you ask me. 1 ingot gives Snow 60% more attack and 40% more max Brave, which is yet another very basic upgrade. Moving on. Investing 2 ingots in Snow allows him to begin the stage with his EX buff, and the first skill he uses becomes free. His EX buff called Hot-Blooded Hero raises his own initial and max Brave, and also reduces the HP damage taken by the party at all times by 20%. He also gains access to his Brave and HP++ skills. This is an amazing 2 ingot upgrade for Snow, but I will never tell anyone to stop at 2 ingots because this would be a waste of your resources. Finally, if you invest 3 ingots in Snow, his EX changes to a 3-hit AoE Brave plus single target attack, followed by 5-hit AoE Brave plus single target attack that deals 80% splash damage if you break or attack a broken target. This is the bread and butter of Snow's kit. This upgrade is why Snow is able to do enough damage to rival other Chaos viable tanks. Which is why my final recommendation is to max him out completely. If you just want to use him in a Dimensions End stage, then you can probably do so with just his base EX weapon. Now let's see if you should pull or not. After everything we've said about Snow and Cinque, what do you think? Should you pull for either or both of them? Let me know in the comments below. The truth is, Cinque is lowering the value of this banner considerably, which is a shame, but I still think this banner is worth pulling on just because of how strong Snow is. I could not recommend to anyone to be ready to pity Snow unless of course you are also going after Cinque, in which case this is a godsend banner for you. If you are a new player trying to build your roster, then I would definitely pull on this banner, no questions asked. Me personally, I'll consider doing my usual 50 tickets in case I manage to get Snow's EX. And that was it. I hope you stuck with me until the end and that you enjoyed watching or listening to this video. Don't forget to drop a like and also consider subscribing if you like my content. If you have any suggestions of things you want me to cover, I would very much like to hear about them. Take care guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.